Hello everyone, in this video I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Moeed Pirzada to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Moeed Pirzada's words. The date of September 11 holds significant importance in world history, especially in the Muslim world. And over the past few weeks, months, and even in the last 24 hours, many incidents have occurred which make the importance of September 11 even more evident and present before us. It is crucial that we revisit this date, understand its importance, and try to connect it with the ongoing events. This week I will try to present a quick analysis of this. Whoever understands will benefit, and even those who don't understand will benefit a great deal. But before I delve into the events of 9/11 and what happened in the Muslim world, let me quickly present some recent developments that I will explain in detail later. Imran Khan's lawyer, Barrister Salman Safdar, who is a highly skilled and respected constitutional expert and one of Pakistan's top professional lawyers with no political affiliation, once again spoke to the press in the courtroom's veranda. He assured everyone that the Al-Qaeda case was a clear-cut one, with no serious complications. He expected that Imran Khan would soon be granted bail in this case. A few days ago, Alima Khan had also said the same thing. Once Imran Khan is granted bail in this case, there will be no other cases left to hold him. Although over 250 cases had been filed against him, no other case had a legitimate legal standing. He emphasized that Imran Khan's release is legally possible, and as soon as the bail is granted, his release would be imminent. When asked about the Toshakhana case, he said there is positive progress on that as well. However, in the current political atmosphere of Pakistan, many on social media channels, especially Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf's YouTube and Twitter handles, claimed that Barrister Salman Safdar had given a major announcement and that Imran Khan's release was imminent. In reality, Barrister Salman Safdar is simply a professional lawyer, someone who sticks to legal matters. He doesn't engage in politics. He made it clear that no case against Imran Khan holds any legal value. His only job is to present his client's case in court, and he did not imply any political solutions. Imran Khan's release depends not on legal matters but on the political situation in Pakistan. The political establishment needs to settle its stance on this. So until that happens, Imran Khan's release is not possible legally. If the political situation changes or some political agreement is reached, only then can his release happen. But there is no legal road to his release unless the political leadership decides otherwise. Furthermore, a very interesting interaction took place between Islamabad High Court Chief Justice Sarfraz Dogar and Imran Khan's lawyer. Most Pakistani newspapers, both English and Urdu, and social media highlighted this incident, focusing on the conflict and confrontation that took place between the two. However, what many missed was the most interesting aspect of this interaction, which I will share at the end of this analysis. In a different case, Additional Judge Afzal Majoka of Islamabad's court made a significant decision regarding a case involving 27 individuals, including Imran Riaz Khan and others. He granted relief to 11 of the accused who were residing outside Pakistan, stating that they were not present in the court because they lived abroad. This decision is especially noteworthy because those not in Pakistan are not allowed to appear before the court. The Pakistani court insists that individuals must first surrender themselves and physically appear in Pakistan before they can proceed with the case. This legal stance essentially means those outside the country cannot have their cases processed unless they return to Pakistan. The irony is that the individuals who have been granted relief by the court are all those residing abroad, such as myself. Several Indian newspapers have reported a very interesting story about the Pakistani Army's growing emphasis on cyber warfare. The newly appointed commander of the Rawalpindi Corps, Amir Ehsan Nawaz, he has expertise in cyber warfare, which he gained through his training in the United States. Additionally, the Inter-Services Public Relations, or ISPR, has recruited 65,000 interns for training in information warfare. Now, Indian newspapers speculate that these efforts are geared towards waging cyber and information warfare against India. However, my belief is that the focus is actually on Pakistan's internal issues and its struggle with the West. As we approach the retirement of Pakistan's Army Chief, General Asim Munir, in 78 days, there is speculation about the future political direction of the country. There are reports that the Sharif family is looking for a guarantor to secure a political understanding, and their attention is now focused on Saudi Arabia, particularly Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, or MBS. This shift in focus is linked to the ongoing situation in the Middle East and the developments in Israel, which I will elaborate on shortly. The situation in Israel and Palestine is another significant area of concern. In the past 24 hours, there has been a noteworthy shift in the relationship between Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and US President Donald Trump, with both expressing the possibility of meeting soon to advance trade talks and reach agreements. This new development has stirred interest, as many analysts believe it signals a thaw in US-India relations, which could have significant geopolitical implications. Returning to the tragedy of 9/11 24 years ago, the world witnessed the horrific attacks by Al-Qaeda on the United States. 2 planes were hijacked, leading to the destruction of the Twin Towers and the deaths of approximately 3,000 people. This tragic event set off a chain of wars in Afghanistan, Iraq and the Middle East, resulting in millions of Muslim casualties and countless displaced people. In Syria alone, between 1/3 and 40% of the population has been displaced, leading to a massive refugee crisis. Yet, the Western media often fails to connect the dots between 9/11 and the resulting destruction in the Middle East, as they are primarily focused on the attack itself. Another significant event was the October 2023 Hamas attack on Israel, which killed 1,200 Israelis. But the real tragedy came afterwards, as 64,000 Palestinians in Gaza lost their lives, and the entire region was turned into a pile of rubble. The West, however, does not focus on these numbers. The learning outcome here is clear. The intellectual discourse in the Muslim world, which has long advocated for jihad and resistance against the West, has failed to yield results. Instead, intellectual strategies focusing on economic growth, structural development, and engaging with parts of the West that oppose imperialism are needed. However, such strategies are not acknowledged by the political elites within the Muslim world, where internal divisions and sectarianism continue to weaken the collective ability to negotiate positions on the global stage. An alternate theory exists for the events of 9/11, suggesting that a powerful lobby or group orchestrated the attacks through Al-Qaeda with the aim of reordering the Middle East. Similarly, there is speculation that the October 2023 attack by Hamas could have been a grand strategy to permanently destroy the two-state solution and cleanse Gaza of Palestinians. This theory is further supported by recent Israeli actions to expand settlements in the West Bank and reject any two-state solution. In the past 24 hours, there has also been a shift in the United States political landscape, with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, a prominent right-wing extremist close to Donald Trump. This shocking event has led to further speculation about political lobbies and extremist groups influencing United States politics, with no clear evidence as to who was responsible for his death. Some suggest it could be linked to left-wing ideologies or Islamist groups, but no conclusive evidence has emerged yet. This tragic death has put the United States political establishment on edge, and the FBI is under pressure to make an arrest. I will make a leap. I will come back quoting Doha with reference to Bashar's context. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif has done something very wise in the past few months. He arrived in Doha offering his condolences and sympathizing with Qatar's leadership. On the other hand, people are saying that the Sharif family is also conducting its own diplomacy in the region, because they want guarantees. They want assurances about what will happen if we give General Asim Munir an extension for another 5 years. They want guarantees that if we extend his term, what will happen to us? Shahbaz Sharif arrived, and Pakistan played a role in calling for a summit within the OIC, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, which is being held in Doha. Algeria, Somalia and Qatar were involved in calling this summit at the United Nations Security Council, and the Prime Minister of Qatar, Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman, rushed to New York to attend the meeting, where he openly declared the actions of Israel as acts of terrorism. After that, he spoke with several American TV channels, including CNN, explaining how Qatar had a cooperative arrangement with Israel. Israeli officials were repeatedly engaging with Hamas indirectly through negotiations. So keep in mind that Doha is, a pretty small place geographically. Despite this, Doha has always tried to leverage its size and use politics to assert itself. The creation of Al Jazeera in the late 90s in Doha was, honestly, a political move to increase Qatar's leverage in the Middle East and the world. Otherwise, Qataris are a small population, only around 250,000, compared to the much larger populations in the UAE, which is about 1.2 million in comparison to a total population of 10 million. The rest of the people are migrant workers. Qataris are, an intelligent community, and they have used this leverage strategically. For example, they facilitated the Taliban's negotiations with the US, leading to the exit of US troops from Afghanistan. Similarly, they have hosted Hamas and provided them with financial support at Israel's consent, where cash was transferred from Israeli officials to Hamas in Gaza. All of this was reiterated by Qatar's Prime Minister, who reminded the American media about the ongoing crisis and the need for security arrangements with the US, although the details of these plans were not shared. Now, in 2025, when Donald Trump visited Qatar, Qatar even gave him a plane, which Trump said he would not part with. It was his toy. Despite that, $3 trillion worth of investments were committed between Qatar and Trump. But Trump couldn't protect Qatar. The explanation being given now is that Israel took independent action and that the US couldn't intervene. American officials, including the US ambassador to the UN, defended Israel's actions by calling the strike a legitimate one. However, the serious question now is about security guarantees for Saudi Arabia, the UAE and Qatar. After investing so much in the US and giving donations and pledging investments, the Gulf states are left to ask, what happens next? They had relied on the US for physical security, especially against Iran, but the real threat now comes from Israel. So, what happened in recent months has been that Israel's aggressive actions, including bombings in Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, Yemen, and now Qatar, have really raised alarms. Israel's complete dominance over the region, both politically and militarily, is now, honestly, a nightmare for the Arabs. Israel no longer needs to physically occupy Arab lands. It controls the Middle East region politically and militarily, which is something the Arab world is still struggling to understand. In the past few months, Israel has bombed Syria, Lebanon, Yemen, and now even Qatar. Each attack had its own reasons, but the overarching plan seems to be full control of the region. On the other hand, Elon Mirahi, an Israeli citizen and former athlete turned political commentator, tweeted that the problem for Arabs is not a lack of firepower, but their mental weakness and lack of self-respect. He argues that Arabs are mentally weak, and that is why they are in this situation. He also quoted an analysis from a prominent Israeli newspaper, Haaretz, written by an American think tanker. The article warned of the danger of a possible war between Israel and Turkey due to Turkey's support for Hamas. The analysis argued that Israel's nuclear deterrence against Turkey's overwhelming firepower could lead to a catastrophic war in the region. In the Middle East, the traditional balance of power has been disturbed. Egypt, Iraq and Syria were once the three major powers, but Egypt was neutralized with the Camp David Accords, and Iraq and Syria were destabilized. As a result, Israel's military power has become unchallenged in the region. Meanwhile, in Pakistan, something interesting is happening. According to Indian newspapers, Pakistan's military is advancing in cyber warfare. General Ahmed Amir Ehsan Nawaz, who commands Corps 10 in Rawalpindi, is actually an expert in cyber warfare. They've also recruited 600 more people for internships related to information warfare. While Indian media assumes that this will be used against India, in reality, it is more focused on Pakistan's own information warfare. The Pakistani military has no real intelligence capability to compete with Indian intelligence. Their attempts to counter India's narrative on Twitter are more about battling their own internal issues and criticisms. Pakistan's military is preparing for this warfare, especially through social media platforms like Twitter. This is evident from the way they have opened Twitter accounts to counter nationalist narratives from PTI supporters, but they are still unable to match the power and intelligence that India's narratives wield. One of the most interesting developments is that in Islamabad, an exchange between the Chief Justice of the Islamabad High Court, Justice Sarfraz Dogar, and lawyer Iman Hazir Mazari took place. Iman, known for her human rights work, was defending the case of Maharang Balok, a missing person who has been detained for months without trial. This exchange became a heated debate, with Justice Dogar even trying to belittle Iman by telling her husband Hadi to control his wife. This episode showed the kind of traditional patriarchal control that Justice Dogar still believed in, despite being the Chief Justice of the Islamabad High Court. Iman, a well-educated lawyer, didn't accept the condescending attitude and fought back, defending her case and her clients. This interaction became a significant highlight in Pakistan's ongoing struggle for justice and the rule of law, particularly in the face of authoritarian tendencies that still prevail in certain corners of the judiciary. That wraps up our translation of Moeed Pirzada's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.